Justin was using full self-driving supervised when his Tesla slowed down for a traffic light that had turned yellow. The hot-headed driver of a hot rod wasn't paying attention and nearly rear-ended Justin's car. And for this, he got upset with Justin. He then drove across the lane divider, screaming like a 3-year-old before flipping Justin off and running the red light. Justin told us he decided to show the guy what a real hot rod is like by blowing past him in his Model 3 Performance. He shouted, "Eat my dust," as he shot past the guy. What do you think about this situation? Should FSD have driven through the yellow light? Were the hot rodder's actions justified? Post your verdict in the comments. Dana was driving her brand new Model Y down Portland Avenue in Tacoma, Washington. The driver in front of her came to a stop to wait for traffic so she could make a left turn. Dana came to a stop as well, but a BMW driver rear-ended her Tesla. Dana had just enough time to get her foot on the brake when she saw in her rearview mirror that the BMW was going too fast and wasn't going to be able to stop. Dana had hoped to avoid getting pushed into the car in front of her, but the BMW managed to crash into her hard enough to push her Tesla into the Mazda 3's rear bumper cover. Thankfully, the damage was minimal. Dana called the police to report the collision, then got out to check on the other involved drivers. When the police officer arrived, he cited the BMW driver after finding her responsible for the collision. Nobody was hurt, and both the Mazda driver and Dana were able to drive away. The BMW left on a tow truck, and Dana is guessing it's totaled based on the damage to the front end. Two pedestrians began jaywalking across the road just as our submitter's light turned green. While taking their time crossing in front of our submitter's Tesla, they made gestures while yelling something unintelligible. One of them began walking toward the car. Our submitter tried to get out of the way, but the man ran up and kicked the Tesla's fender. The impact even knocked the repeater camera out of alignment when the guy kicked and dented the fender. Our submitter did not think stopping would be a good idea, so after reaching a safe location, he made a police report and an insurance claim noting the damage. The vandal hasn't been located, so our submitter ended up paying his insurance deductible to get the damage repaired. He might be facing an increase in his insurance premiums as well. In the end, our submitter paid out of his own pocket after this random man kicked his car. Our submitter would love to press charges, so if you know who this man is, please let us know and we'll pass the information along. Tyson had parked his car in front of his workplace in Spokane, Washington, when he suddenly heard what sounded like a loud explosion. Tyson looked outside to find his Tesla crushed, shoved into a tree by a pickup truck. The pickup driver was uninsured, and he told Tyson he'd been trying to reach his phone on the passenger side when the collision occurred. Police were summoned to the scene, and the pickup driver was cited for distracted driving and driving without insurance. Thankfully, nobody was injured. After the repair estimate climbed to $35,000 US, the repair shop stopped counting and totaled the car instead. After Tyson negotiated with his insurance provider, they paid him $44,000, a bit more than the $42,000 he'd bought his Tesla for in the first place. Nice! The side and rear angles reveal a lady had been sitting outside, and when the impact occurred, her dogs knocked her over and took off. But we're happy to report that both she and the dogs are fine, and she was able to get them back. This story has a funny twist. While Tyson was at his bank to finalize his insurance settlement, he mentioned our channel to the bank teller and told her he was sending us the Teslacam footage. The teller was also a fan of Wham Baam Teslacam, and she let Tyson know that the voiceover guy for the Wham Baam channels, that's me, Ben, lives in the Spokane area. What a small world! Another Spokane area local is our Tesla collision expert, Winston, who helped us find Tyson's car being auctioned off online. Nice detective work, Winston. Big Jerry passed a rental truck towing a trailer, and the driver had forgotten to tie up the excess tow straps holding down a cargo box. The straps flapped around before wrapping around one of the trailer's wheels, locking it up while he drove along on his cell phone completely oblivious. Big Jerry's wife JoJo gave him the play-by-play as they drove by so Big Jerry could pay attention to the road. The rental driver kept going for a mile or so before noticing the smoke and finally pulling over. Nidhi was driving home from work when he suddenly saw parts flying and a Jeep rolling over in the oncoming lanes. The Teslacam footage reveals a 3-car collision after an SUV driver changed lanes and hit the back end of the Jeep, effectively pit maneuvering it into a 3rd car. Several drivers stopped to render aid, and Nadi kept going as he needed to pick up his kids from school. Cutlass was obeying the 40-mile-per-hour speed limit in his Model 3 Performance while on his way to work. He was glad the light ahead was still green as he approached, as it had stayed green for over 20 seconds. Even as he was celebrating the long light, someone else ran their red light at full speed. By the time he noticed the Toyota, he had little time to react. He stood on the brake pedal and swerved, a move which probably saved the other driver's life. By turning right, he made sure his Tesla hit the rear end of the Toyota rather than the driver's door. You can see what we mean in the photos of the damage done to the Toyota. Cutlass's Tesla immediately called 911. After he escaped from the airbags, he was able to walk away almost completely unhurt, only sustaining some minor bruises. First responders arrived in under 5 minutes. When Cutlass's Model 3 reverted to low voltage mode, he was unable to use the screen as we can see in this photo, but he gave his USB drive containing his Teslacam footage to the police. The Toyota driver was found fully responsible. The Toyota had actually spun around and collided with a Jeep as well, but thankfully neither of those drivers were hurt either. The Toyota itself didn't fare so well. After being hit by the Tesla on one side and the Jeep on the other, it was torn into pieces. Cutlass's Tesla was deemed a total loss, and the insurance company cut him a check for $35,000 US. Pay close attention to this creative Ford driver that Bagya encountered while driving in Seattle, Washington. The Ford driver was apparently trying to correct their wrong turn by making an illegal U-turn, driving the wrong way, and crashing into a pickup truck. I feel like making a turn up ahead would have been a smarter move, but what do I know? The impact destroyed the rear camera, cutting the video feed, and this might be the first time we've seen this happen in a video we've featured on Wham Baam Teslacam. The remaining cameras continued filming, and one of the side cameras captured a bystander quickly checking on everyone involved. In the front camera, we can see how hard the Tesla was shoved into a Jaguar ahead of it, making this a 3-vehicle collision. When Rayshawn confronted the van driver with what he called choice words, he offered no explanation for what had happened. Police and paramedics responded to the scene. Insurance claims and litigation are now in process. While Jake was attending a Kate Nash concert in Seattle, a group of 3 men went on a smash and grab spree in the lot where he'd parked his Tesla. Sentry mode was triggered when the suspects arrived in a Mercedes and pulled up next to Jake's Model 3. Thankfully, they weren't able to make it through the Tesla's double-pane glass, even after 3 attempts. The other cars nearby weren't so resistant. Jake will be filing a damage claim with his insurance provider, and he provided this video to the police as evidence. Well, that wraps up another episode. We saw the good, the bad, and the ugly, but that wasn't even the craziest smash and grab we featured. Go watch this video next if you want to see one that's even more shocking.